Hi, and welcome to Rosebud Homestead. Thank you so much for joining our community. We really appreciate it. We try very hard to get correct information out about self-reliance, food security, and emergency preparedness. And we just really appreciate it when you share our videos, when you like them if you do, and subscribe. So we are building a community day by day, and it's growing and growing, and so we are very excited about that. We just a little while ago hit 25,000 subscribers, and that's just great for us. We remember the days when, oh my goodness, 30 views in 1 week was a milestone. So our channel is growing, and we have you to thank for that. Today we're going to work with plums. About a week ago, Jim and I picked the last of the plums off our tree. We lost most of our plums this year to the sneak freeze and then the big winds that we had, but we did get a few. And so today we are going to do two things with them. We're going to make some Chinese plum sauce, and we're going to make some syrup, like for pancakes and waffles. So we'll get started on that when we come right back. We got about twice this many plums. We have eaten a few, and these plums have really good flavor. They're a smaller plum, and they have a yellow flesh, and they have pits that are not freestone. And so here's the pit, and the flesh just sticks to it. So right in there. And so the first instruction on most of these recipes is to wash and pit the plums. Well, I am not going to spend my day pitting these plums. And so I kind of invented a quick and easy way to do it. I think I invented it. Every time I think I've invented something new, then I find out somebody else has already done it. So I make that claim with a little bit of trepidation. In any case, I'm going to show you what I do to go from this to this. Now, this took about 20 minutes, and this is the plum puree, and that's what we're going to start with when we make both the plum sauce and the plum syrup. So there's no water in here, there's no sugar in here, there's just the plums. And so I'm going to put just a little bit of water in the bottom, and I'm just going to use the lid as my measurer and just put a little water right in the bottom, and that's all it takes. And then I'm going to start these over on medium heat, and we're going to bring you along and show you what happens as we cook these. And so we're going to cook them until they're very soft, and the flesh is mushy. That's how we want it, and very, very soft. And then I'll show you our special tricks of how to do, but we'll bring you over a couple of times so you can see. So see you in a moment. These have been going about 5 minutes. They're boiling. Notice how much liquid that these plums have just produced on their own. The skins are starting to split, and the flesh is being exposed. So the flesh on some is still yellow, but when it turns this bright orange, then we know that it's getting more toward getting done, and I can smash it against the side and tell. So we're going to let these boil a little bit longer, and until everything is just super, super soft. They're still not soft enough yet. So we'll be back. It's still boiling. This has been an additional 10 minutes, and everything is just really, really soft. We have pieces of skin everywhere, and we have these almost naked plums that have shed their skin. They're quite soft. So we're going to go on to the next step. I'm going to just turn this off. Now here's where we start doing something that is not very conventional. I have my hand mixer right here and the beaters, and I am just going to put this right down here and turn it on very low. I have it on very low, and we're just going to separate the pits from the flesh. This is the slickest trick. It's splashing a little bit on me. I'm wearing the plums. Okay, let's see what we have. All right, things are pretty mashed. There's some pits, and I think we're ready to move back over to the counter. So here is how I remove the pits. I have this handy dandy little tool. It's called a plum pitter. Well, no, it isn't. It's actually a fish flipper, but I'm using it because it has lots of open spaces and I can reach in there. And I'm going to be picking up skins, but there's some pits right there. And so I'm just going to dump those over in this little bowl. And I'm going to continue doing this. Okay, good. There's a bunch of pits right there. I want the skins as much as possible into the mix. So I'm just going to try to get the pits out with as little bit of skin as possible. So I'm going to continue doing this separation process, and this is so much faster than trying to get the pits out by hand. And so we'll come back when we're ready for the next step. That took a few minutes, but here's what we have. Just a glomp of, oh my goodness, there is a pit. I thought I got all of them. Skins and pieces of the plum flesh. It's kind of a rough mixture. So we need to get that all smoothed out. Here's our waste, which is not bad at all for that many plums, and it was so much easier than doing the pitting one plum at a time and trying to get the flesh off. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use the immersion blender and make this a smooth puree just like that other one. And hopefully we won't hit a pit. There we, uh-oh, I think I just heard a pit. There it is. It doesn't hurt anything. It doesn't knock the blade off or anything, so that's a good thing. And the last step for the puree then is to just strain it, which is what we're going to do right here. You need something with a little bit larger holes than a regular strainer. Okay, what we have left is just a few stems. Oh, there's a pit that we didn't catch, and some of the larger chunks. So that's going over here, and now here is our puree. So we have 2 containers of puree right there, and when we come back, we will start on our project of making plum sauce and plum syrup. So we'll be right back. We are following the recipe from Oregon State University Extension Service for what they call plum sauce. And I've checked a lot of other recipes. This is very similar to some of the other ones as well. This is a tested recipe. We will be doing water bath canning on it. And I have already checked the pH of this plum puree, and it is way down in the high acid level. It's at about a 2, so that's really good. So the instructions say to put everything in a pot except for the plums. So we're going to do that, and I'm going to call out the ingredients as we go. So we have 1 cup of cider vinegar, 2 cups of brown sugar, and all I had was dark brown sugar today, so that's what we are using. 1 cup of white sugar, this is 1 inch of minced fresh ginger, and then 1 clove of garlic that is also minced. We're putting that in as well. Now in this little dish is 1 tablespoon of salt, 2 tablespoons of mustard seed, and that is it, so that's going in. Then we have 1 medium onion, This is a homegrown onion. I'm so proud of that onion. And then it calls for 2 tablespoons of chopped green chili peppers. I'm not putting that in. Jim and I aren't fond of that. I am going to substitute for that green chili this Chinese 5-spice. And in some of the other recipes, I saw this as an ingredient, and I did not see the chili. And it smells really wonderful. The ingredients, oh, I don't have my glasses. Star anise, clove, cinnamon, fennel, and black pepper. So we're just going to put 1 teaspoon in, and then we'll sort of do this for taste as we go. Now, what we have to do next is we're going to heat this to a boil. I'm going to stir all of this up. We're going to heat it to a boil, and then we add 4 pounds of plums that have been pitted and chopped. Now, we did our plums a little bit different, and so Jim and I sort of estimated what the equivalent of this plum puree would be, and we figured that it would be about 3 pounds. Now, if you're going to do the puree like we did, it turned out to be, we weighed out 3 pounds, and it turned out to be 7 cups. And that's what we have right here. But we don't put this in until after we have brought this to a boil. Then we're going to add the plum puree and bring it back to a very low boil, and then it's going to simmer for about an hour and a half. So we will come back when we're ready to add the plums. The brown sugar mixture is boiling nicely, so now we add the plum puree. I can smell those spices. I love that Chinese 5-spice. And so we're going to let it simmer for an hour and a half and thicken up, and then we'll get it in the jars and water bath can it. So there we have the raw syrup. I'm going to take a quick taste. Spicy, but the right kind of spicy, not hot spicy. Okay, we will see you in about an hour and a half when this is ready to go. Chinese plum sauce is simmering for about an hour and a half. We're going to get started on the plum syrup. So I'm just going to take the rest of this puree and put it right in my jam pan. The jam pan has an internal measuring scale, so I can measure how much it is, and that will tell me how much sugar to put in. Now, the interesting thing about this plum puree is that it is the very same stuff that I use to make jam as well. Okay, so this is about it's about 7 cups. And so we're going to add, I'm going to start with about 5 cups of sugar. And then I'm going to taste it and see, and then we'll cook it until it gets the consistency of pancake syrup. And then we will also water bath can this for 5. So I'll stir this in. That works. Okay, I'm going to put this on the stove and we'll let it cook until it's ready, and we'll bring you back when that time happens. This is my jam pan. It is one of my favorite pans in the kitchen. So it's easy to pour. This syrup is pretty good. It will thicken up when it is cool. And we have just a little bit left over, and we'll have pancakes in the next couple of days, and we will use that up. So let me wipe these rims, and we will get these down in the water. And the lids go on finger tight. The syrup is very hot. It was boiling away over there when I moved it over here. And I'm going to get these in, and we'll be back when we take them out. I'm going to get the last one out. 2 or 3 of them have already popped. These are just absolutely gorgeous. And the syrup is fantastic. It has quite a bit of tang to it at first, and then the sweetness just fills your mouth. And so these should be fabulous on pancakes. So the sauce is now ready to jar up. So I'm just going to move these off to the side here, let them cool, and we're all set up and ready to bring over the sauce. And Jim tasted this sauce just a minute ago, and he thought it was fabulous. So this will be wonderful. We will use that on egg rolls and over chicken and anything we want. It's a fabulous sauce. These are hot. The jars were hot. The sauce is hot. Just exactly how we want to start off a water bath canning situation. These also process for 20 minutes. And the water is already going over there, so I'm going to get these in. Now, if you notice, there's some air escaping in some of those jars, and that is very normal. What's happening there is the contents inside were very hot, and so it's driving the air out and replacing that with steam, and that's exactly what we want to have happen. I'm going to add just a little bit more water to be sure that we have an inch above these jars. When this starts coming back to a boil, then we will start timing for 20 minutes, and we'll bring you back when they are done. Here comes the last one. And there we have it. Some of them, most of them have already popped just as I was taking them out. So here is our plum harvest for the year. Was not a very big harvest, but we've had plenty to eat fresh. And I'm wearing quite a bit of it right here on my shirt. It's splattered all over the place. But, you know, it's a good feeling to have what we have grown, the entire crop, all put up for enjoyment this winter. We still have plenty of plum jam from the last couple of years, which is why I didn't make any jam this year. But we now have these 2 additions, the syrup, and that syrup is really good. It will go well over ice cream too, so in addition to pancakes and waffles. And then this plum sauce is a new thing for us. And boy, is it ever good. It will be just delightful. And I think we're going to go get some egg rolls tomorrow, and we're going to try the sauce out for supper. And I'll include that in the front end picture. I won't take that one until tomorrow. So that does it for our plum harvest. And thanks for being with us, and we'll see you at our next video.